Okay guys, so I'm here to present to you a simple workflow that I've created for agent-driven development. It is called ABCDE skills workflow, and it is from an idea to a merge PR. You will have few skills, not a lot of them, just few skills that you can use and get your thing from your mind to a working code in production. I've been using this on a video generation platform that I'm building for past 1.5 months, and it has been incredible. Like, I am able to follow a proper process driven workflow, and this simple looking skill set is helping me do that. Even though on the high level it looks very simple, underlying it does a lot of things that you would want to do. So let's get into that. So we have primarily 5 skills that we will be using. It is add. You just add your idea. Even if it is half baked or it is fully ready, you can add it. If it is having some gaps, you can do a brainstorm check on that, and you can figure out if there are any questions to be answered before you can send it for coding. And once the coding is done, it will do a lot of things that you would want as a process to be followed during coding into this particular skill. So this is a much exhaustive set of things that it undertakes into this particular skill, and we will be exploring that as well. And the final one is clearing out everything that you have built to get that particular feature done. So it is not just creation, you also have to clean up the things and also put things into a proper branch, proper pipeline and stuff like that. So that will be done as part of this skill. And say you have added something and you didn't like proceed on these steps on it, you could explore it on a later point of time and start from there and into this particular workflow again. So that's the high level of it. So let's get into the details of it. So yeah, okay. So first of all, I have to clear the fact that this is not, if you are looking for a completely automated solution wherein like you believe that agent can take just a few things from you and just keep on building on it. Because I have started with that. Like, initially when I was building, I was doing that, and I realized like there are a lot of hiccups in that. You will lead into a lot of surprises, and it will not follow a lot of steps that you would want it to follow, and like it will be just a mess. Like, you will be just redoing things, trying to fight the agent and just cursing the agent all the while, and that's not the way you should be working right now. Because the state where things are right now, I think like if you have a certain process in place, which I believe like I have achieved to a certain extent, can give you better result than what probably you might be facing right now. So yeah, just wanted to clear that up beforehand. So yeah, so this is again a brief of what each skill does. So like you invoke each skill like this. Like add-todo is like /add -to-do, and then you can park your idea as a spec document within the repository itself. We do not use Git for this, because for agent, looking into the repo is much easier when compared to like going online and finding the task it needs to do. So there is like less friction there, so we capture it in the repo itself. And there is another skill which will basically help you clear any gaps and help you answer any open questions that are within that particular task that you have captured earlier. And then you come to doing coding of that part, implementation part of it, and you invoke your code-todo on that particular item. You call /code-todo and pass it that particular to-do spec file name, and then it will pick it from there. and before it starts building, it will look for a lot of things like whether unit tests needs to be written, integration tests, run unit E2E test, stuff like that. And there are diagrams, API specs, screenshotting and stuff like that. It will do a lot of things before, and it will figure out what all is applicable for this particular task, and then it will present to you, okay, this is what the thing that it believes that is applicable. You could again, like, it has not started building, you could again tell it, okay, like, I want things a certain way, and you could proceed from there. And from there onwards, this is like the first gate we have created before it will run autonomously. So from there onwards, you can just give it a clear go, and then from there it will start proceeding on its own to the completion. So that's your implementation part. And then comes the shipping part, wherein like you have created a lot of things like worktree, branches in your local, in your origin, stuff like that. You need to do some sanity checks, like if the agent has written very long files and stuff like that, there are dead codes it didn't remove, and tagging and stuff like that. So it will be done as part of this particular skill. When you invoke this post, this particular one is done, and you could just pass it like the in the same session. If you invoke it, like, it will know the context, and if not, then you can tell it the PR number, and then it will figure out things on its own. And this again is something which you will use is like more like your refinement process. Like, you'll figure out, okay, what all task I have, what should I pick, what has more priority. We do tagging. Every time a task is created, agent will figure out like what tags are applicable, and there will be tags, and based on that, this particular skill will present to you the list of tasks that are there. So very effortless that way. And you can use npx skills add to basically clone it into your repo. This is to pass the agent name, and you will be passing my repo. This is my GitHub repo where this is hosted. You could just copy this command, run it on your system, and the skills will be in your Claude Code skills. So this is like npx skills provided by Vasil, and they are basically looking into this particular repo and pulling that into your Claude Code skills setup. So yeah, so that's convenient. And going to the walkthrough, so yeah, I have given a brief, so some to give you a picture of it. Like, I am not presenting it on my terminal because that's a lot of editing stuff and things like that. So I built a visual about it so that you get a cleaner picture, because terminals are if I do it directly on the terminal, it is slightly verbose, so you might not be able to connect to it very well. So I have created a demonstration here, which is gonna present to you how it is overall. It's not the exact replica, but it is gonna present to you like what is the overall thing and what is the underlying picture that this thing creates. So yeah, so first step, as we have mentioned, is add-todo. So you could directly invoke add-todo /add-todo and write your thing here, or you could be mid discussion. You need not start with /add-todo. You could just type your thoughts, and once you have formed certain picture, you could invoke /add-todo and then capture that idea into a to-do file. So it will be placed under docs to do, and then it will give it a name based on what it is. And we also have some tags here. So if you can see, like, status is needs discussion, there are some open questions that the agent thinks are there, priority is there, efforted things is medium, and tags are also added. So this is used in this particular skill. the tags, all the attributes that you see here, and then rest is your description about the task, right? So again, coming to the next skill, which is our brainstorm-todo. So as you could see, like there was the to-do that was created as status needs discussion. So that means the agent thinks that we are not ready yet. If we are ready, it would have marked it status ready. If it is having some gaps, it will mark it as needs discussion. So you could invoke this particular skill, brainstorm-todo, on it, and just pass it the name of the markdown file, and then it'll go through that and then present to you with some questions, and then you could answer those, and once those answers are captured, it'll mark the status as ready and then capture those details into the to-do file. So as simple as that. It's gonna be more like a grilling session on what do you think is the correct way. It'll go through the code to figure out if it can answer things by itself. If not, it'll present to you what questions it thinks needs your particular input, and it'll present to you those as questions. Not everything, it'll not give you everything as like, okay, answer me this, answer me that. It'll try to figure out on its own if it can resolve things on its own. Otherwise, if there is particular input needed from you, it will highlight to you that. If it thinks that certain thing, even though it can evaluate on its own, but is critical, it will present to you that as well. And yeah, so that's as good as it gets. And coming to the next most important one is our implementation, right? So we invoke this with /code-todo, and then it does a lot of things, right? As soon as you invoke it, you pass it again the name. Passing name every time is not really necessary. If you are in the same session, you could just invoke it and it will know that you are talking about the same to-do item which we have been working on, like adding it, brainstorming it. It knows. So this is for illustration. So yeah, so as soon as you invoke it, it will go through that and it will figure out, okay, this particular change touches unit test, integration test, and they needs to be updated. If there are none, it will create new ones. If E2E is applicable, it will see if there is existing one. If it is not there, it will add a new one. Feature spec also will be maintained. So as soon as this particular to-do is implemented, we will delete this file because we don't want to keep things in the code base. It will be there in the Git history. We can anytime retrieve it with the help of the agent, but we should not keep it in the repo because it will give a stale picture most of the time, because you would keep updating things. So it's best to not keep this in repo, but just remove it and keep it in Git history if at all you need them back. So the working status of a particular feature will be maintained in a feature spec file. So it will be captured into docs/features directory. This is what the opinionated part is. Like, we choose these directories, right? Docs feature as a directory where we will keep the spec files for the features, like how a particular feature is supposed to behave and what we have agreed upon will be captured here. To-dos will be captured into this particular directory, docs/to-do. We have chosen this to be the right place for it. If you don't like it, probably you could clone the repo and like do your own thing with the skill and modify it according to your wish. Yeah, coming back to here, there will be more things that will be checked. So if you're working, if your code is related to API, like it is touching some part of the API, then it will see, okay, if there is any API skeleton, that API collection that it has created, API spec collection it has created already. If it is not, it will create one. And what we are doing is we have chosen as like the VS Code as the editor for our setup. So we are using rest directory at the root level, and under that we are maintaining .http files. We are not doing Postman or Swagger, we are just doing .http files, and this can be triggered. This basically is a file which, if you open in VS Code with the particular extension that it needs, it will allow you to run a particular API request from VS Code. So this is a way simpler approach in maintaining things as well as running it during your development and debugging. So this is what we have chosen as a thing. Again, like, you're free to enhance this. So yeah, this is API specs also captured here. Diagrams, if there are things that needs to be captured as architecture diagram, sequence diagram, or a flow chart, that will be captured into this. Like, it will have three diagrams that will be checked for architecture, sequence diagram, or flow chart. And then these are contract tests. These are basically very simple test which says that they are contracts. So if at all, like, the agent is doing some changes and it has to break a certain functionality and then rewrite it in certain way, we have written instructions that any contract, if you are changing, you have to mention it to the user that, okay, this contract is gonna break as part of this implementation. Because what happens is, agents tend to assume things during implementation, and contracts specifically tell agents not to touch that particular part of functionality if we have not agreed upon changing that. So these are to basically put safeguards around that. Even though you have unit tests and integrations, we are explicitly creating very small kind of test setup at the top of the test files, which will basically tell, like, this is the behavior that was agreed upon and do not change it. It's as simple as that. So more for safeguarding it. The actual testing will be done into unit integration and E2Es. So yeah, and once you have this list, you can approve it, or you could request changes to this, and the agent will adhere to that. And once that is done, it will say, okay, gates are resolved, everything is done, and then from there onwards it will start building autonomously. It will create a worktree. Worktree name will be chosen, you don't have to think about it, and it will be branched off develop. I will come to the branching structure as well once we are done with this, but for now, the new worktree will have a branch that is branched out of develop branch, and it'll check this thing. It'll implement the specs, test, stuff like that. Implementation will be done. API spec collections will be updated or created. It'll run some TypeScript check, everything is working fine or not. E2E will be run, specs will be created, screenshots will be captured, and retiring the to do, it will basically delete it and put it as part of a commit. And at the end, you will have a PR with these screenshots. Not just a screenshot, right? You are not done with this. You have not done a review. You have a lot of things to do still. Even though implementation is done, you are not done. So screenshots give you a faster way to verify what the agent has built is closer to what you wanted it to build. So first thing is, you see the screenshot, you can check, like, okay, it is in line or not. Then you could go into seeing the code and stuff like that. But we will also have we will also have a review server that will be started on this particular worktree on a port range that we have specified between 11,000 and 12,000. Between that, it will pick the free port and host a review server which will be running this particular worktree code, and you could run the application locally and see, like, okay, if your changes are working correctly or not. And if it is working fine, you could proceed with reviewing the code, add comments in your PR. And yes, like the code we are assuming is going into GitHub here, and maybe like we want GitHub as a CLI setup as well. That is the prerequisite in our workflow, but you could basically override this particular repo. Like you could clone it and then you could enhance it to match what you exactly use. So yeah, as I said in the start, it is slightly opinionated, so just sharing it at the current stage where we are. Maybe we'll enhance it to support other providers as well, but yeah. So once you have given your code comments and everything is sorted, like things have been implemented and matching your expectation, then you would proceed to the next step, which is closing everything off, right? Deliver to do. You could deliver, you could invoke deliver to do skill, passing the PR number, say 251 was your PR number. It will merge that. It will check if there are if the develop has moved further, has some changes. It will try to figure out like how to bring your branch up to date with that, and then do the merging, right? So it will take care of all that merging related things on its own. Then it will do the tagging also. If you have to go back in time to give the user a stable build or something like that, or create a particular version out of a PR, you could use the tagging that we automatically do as part of delivering a to-do. And yeah, it will remove the work tree as well. We do not reuse the work trees. That's gonna lead to a lot of mess. So we do not believe in reusing work trees, even though like it's more like once the thing has been discussed, you are handing over to an agent. It will spend extra few seconds, but it will take care of setting up your work tree and stuff like that. So we don't manage work trees. We just remove them at the end of your implementation closure. So we will delete branch on your local as well as origin, and it will also bring your local up to date with the develop, so that you could initiate new work trees on the newer codes, things like that. Post this is done, it will check if it will ask you that if you want to have a stacked PR. Stacked PR as in like you have merged this particular code on develop now, and would you like to create another PR, which is basically checking if any files that the agent have created needs to be refactored a bit. So what generally tends to happen is like agents prefer writing to the same file over like writing way cleaner code. So we have put this particular step there, wherein it will do a check whether it is applicable on your particular PR. If it is not, like you're good to go. You can close your thing here. If it is there, like it will create another PR which will only have changes for this refactoring that it thinks is applicable. You can review that. Okay, and coming to the fifth skill, which is your exploration of to-dos. You can explore the to-dos and see like what all are in ready state, what needs discussion, what are blocked by others, and you can pick something out of that and see like what you need to work upon next. So yeah, again, if you like this, you could go to this particular command, copy it, and try it by yourself, and let me know how it goes for you. Coming to the branching model, right? We have the branching model here. So yeah, the branching model, as I said, is something like this. You have a main branch, which is your release only branch. Develop is your always green branch, from where you will create a release PR, right? But every add-todo invocation that you do is directly committed to develop branch without any verification of you have unit test, integration test, E2E, nothing will be run. It knows that we are just adding a markdown file, so nothing of that sort will be run. It will directly like skip verify, and it will add your to-do file into your develop branch. From that you could initiate invoke code-todo and like get your work tree as well as your branches. From there, at the end, you could have a PR, and that PR could be completed after you run deliver to do. So yeah, this is what we have just discussed. So this is how somehow it looks. So this is the branching model that we are using, and we believe that it will help you as well. Yeah, so okay, this is going slightly more in detail of each skill and seeing what it gives us. Okay, so here we are. This is going in detail with each skill and what the idea behind it is. So but the thing is, like, the video is already half an hour long, and if you like it so far, do comment in the video and let me know if you would want me to cover this particular section in another video, and I would be happy to make another video on this. So yeah, do let me know what you think of this, what your idea of agent-driven development right now is, and like how you are doing it. Would like to know, and maybe we could reshape this better to make it even more generic and applicable to other people as well. So yeah, would be happy to hear your thoughts. Do let me know, and signing off. Bye bye.